South Carolina's troubled child welfare agency. Good evening. I'm Brian McConkey.
And I'm Janet Parker. The Department of Social Services has been under fire for more than a year now, but a plan is in the works to end some troubled times that have included child deaths and caseworkers loaded down with more than they can handle.
State lawmakers giving the governor's choice to rebuild that agency their stamp of approval today, but there's still one more step to go before it is official. Our Tara Pettit live in the newsroom now with more.
A subcommittee voted unanimously yesterday to approve Susan Alford's nomination and submit it to a full panel of Senate lawmakers. Another unanimous vote approval from that panel today means Susan Alford could be looking at the next top position of DSS, and that prospect has children's advocates looking forward to the future.
All in favor of sending that for approval to the full Senate, raise your hands.
A unanimous vote from a full Senate committee Wednesday morning puts DSS Director appointee Susan Alford one step closer to being the new agency chief.
So have you got?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a seat.
Having the Senate to continue to be a voice for trying to advocate for us will be huge.
At this point in the confirmation process, it's safe to say everyone is ready to back Alford and see some changes.
These problems have lasted for decades.
I see lots of dead children, 17 and under, that have died under suspicious circumstances, under circumstances that are unexplained or undetermined.
Laura Hudson is the executive director of the South Carolina Crime Victims Council.
15% of those are fatalities or deaths from homicide, meaning their caretakers murdered the child.
Hudson says sometimes children get put in the wrong hands while in the care of the Department of Social Services, but she has high hopes for the new DSS director prospect.
And I think our emphasis in child welfare in the past, few years has been, reunite the family. And we need to have what is in the best interest of the child. Yeah. And I'm hoping that that is going to be her focus, and I'm sure it will be.
A recent report indicates a 39% turnover rate amongst overburdened caseworkers at the agency. Both the Senate and Susan Alford agree there needs to be reform in child welfare.
One of the problems noted in the allegations is that there's a drastic shortage of foster homes. Would you agree with that?
Several of the allegations in there, and the three primary ones are ones that are part of our efforts in child welfare reform, and shortage of foster homes would be one of those.
Most notably that...
At a budget meeting Wednesday afternoon, the Department of Social Services requesting almost $5 million to maintain the system. House lawmakers were open to the request, but point out that amount doesn't include up to $13 million in annual fines because DSS doesn't currently meet certain federal standards. And Susan Alford says her decades of work in child services, prior institutional and bureaucratic knowledge from working with DJJ makes her a good fit for the job. And the next step in all of this is a vote by a full Senate. No date has been set on that. Live in the newsroom, Tara Pettit, Watch Fox News.
Well, shifting gears to your forecast, we are dealing with some light showers throughout parts of the Midlands. It's the extreme eastern and southern parts just south and east of Manning, also towards Orangeburg. A little bit of shower activity. Everybody dealing with cloud cover today, and looking along the coast, we have some of those showers continuing along the coast this evening, and we're going to see that actually pushing a little bit more inland as we roll through the overnight hours. Corey Miller standing about 5 feet from me, very excited to talk about signing day coming up shortly here on Watch Fox News at 10. As you can see, the showers will continue to fill in. I really think from Columbia and east will be the areas that we have the best chance for seeing any type of shower activity tonight. We have numbers in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. 50 officially in Columbia at this 10 o'clock hour. And as we roll through the overnight time frame, those numbers will drop into the 40s, but a cloudy sky in the city will keep our numbers steady in the mid-40s. Here's what we're talking about tomorrow morning as the kids head to school. A cloudy sky, I really would say if you're down around Orangeburg, and continuing east of that and south of that, that's the best chance to see a few showers with temperatures in the mid-40s. We will see a chilly end of the work week before a warming trend this weekend. All that and more in your full forecast later on.
Also on Fox tonight, one of the biggest days of the year in the books, not only for young athletes, but all the fans that cheer them on. And we know there are plenty of rabid fans around here that get excited for these things. Corey Miller, live in the studio now. He's pretty excited, too. He has a peek at National Signing Day.
Big Peak, Brian, of course, a lot of activity today. A lot of young guys, their dreams came true. But for one guy, 48 hours before he found out, that's not going to happen. Matt Colburn of Dutch Fork didn't get that granted today. Dave Phillips called it with him today at the stadium.
Sometimes your word isn't the same as other people's words. You know, things can happen last minute that can just turn your whole world upside down.
Well, guys, we've got a lot more coming up. Jim Baxter's here. 30 minutes of National Sign of the Day coverage, guys.
Making headlines tonight, South Carolina's Education Superintendent Molly Spearman says the state should bridge the $600 million gap in K-12 education spending within the next 5 years. Now, Spearman says the state needs to address the issue after a recent court ruling that South Carolina's education funding system denies opportunities to poor rural students. The newly elected Republican says it's impractical to try to close that gap in a single year, but she's encouraging a phased-in approach.
We're going to start off. I want you to take your right foot, place it directly in front. Put your hands down at your side and stand in this position. You understand? Go ahead and do that.
Well, you're looking at dash cam video from the DUI arrest of Berkeley County Sheriff Wayne DeWitt. That was back in December. Tonight, DeWitt is no longer the man in the sheriff's office. After more than a month of scrutiny now, he has resigned from his post as he deals with those charges. In a statement released this afternoon, Wayne DeWitt says his resignation is the best way to restore public trust. Authorities say DeWitt drove more than 100